Hi friends, welcome back. Get a seat, grab a drink, get comfortable because we have a lot to catch up on. I can definitely just blame things on the illness or I can just blame things on the medication, but realistically, I don't know. I don't know who's to blame. Okay? I just know like I'm struggling and all of y'all can get it. Hello world, it is I, your friend Jen. And if you're new here, I am actually just going to be providing an update, but I do have two videos that are dedicated to my MS journey, how it started and side effects, and then kind of where I was at the time of my diagnosis. So they're gonna be linked. I always forget which side it is, but it's up here somewhere, and then in the description box as well. So check that out. This is an update, but it's not too late to get caught up. So first of all, I want to take a moment and thank every single person that has liked, that has shared, that has commented. I received just like an overwhelming amount of love and support and comments on my last two videos. I can't even say I didn't expect it because I figured if I'm going through this, hopefully there's someone out there that can relate. I did not expect as much. I mean, I got love, I got advice, I got support, I got virtual hugs from people I don't even know. And that really means a lot to me. But the most important thing is that people were sharing information, they were sharing resources, they were sharing, about their personal journey in the comments. And I love that because that not only helps me, but I'm sure it can help someone else that's seeing that as well. So it was really just like the outpouring of love and support. And there's so much community just centered around this illness, and I felt it. I felt it, and I hope you felt it too. So I really just want to say thank you, all of my new subscribers. With me saying that too, I do want to take a moment and just kind of like double back or clarify something that I said in the video. So in the video, which looking back, I wish I could just jump through the screen and hug that person. So while I'm editing this video, I realized that I got so far off track that I never came back to what I originally wanted to say, which was thank you so much for just hearing my story and really sharing your own. I hope that I didn't come across as closed off when I said I'm not making this an MS channel. As this channel and my community have grown, I've really been focused on topics that align with where I am in life as a Black mother, as a woman who has MS, and is still really just trying to get her shit together. That's what I really want to see reflected here, and hopefully by me making that comment in my last video or in my videos designated to MS, I didn't scare anyone off from really just engaging and connecting, which was the purpose of me posting that video. So thank you again. I truly appreciate you, and I really appreciate you being a part of my journey. Okay, back to the video. I have been watching your comments come through, and honestly, I was waiting for an update so I could, take the medication or get my MRI results back and then provide information to you. But I don't really know if I want to necessarily keep providing those kinds of updates just because, like, I'm violating my own HIPAA privacy on the internet. But also, I really just want to focus on, like, I was diagnosed. These are the things that I'm feeling. I'm okay. And just live life and be there for someone who may be scared or may need to relate. You get what I'm saying? I don't want to focus too much on like my medical specifics and really just more so like, how am I feeling? What am I doing? If I have symptoms, what am I doing to help with that? How's life going? How am I still living my best, greatest life? So I apologize for making you wait for so long. I now know how I want to, take this journey and keep you in the loop of my journey without exploiting myself too much, but I hope you can respect that. I know you will because this community is just so amazing and so beautiful, but I really just had to, before I provide any type of updates, before I get too much into it, I really just had to take a moment because without you guys, I would not be here. I watched the two videos that I recorded about 6 or 7 months ago. I watched them last night because I wanted to make sure that the information that I was sharing then, I kind of touch on and provide updates in this video. And it was, I don't know, it was just such a weird out-of-body experience because I know that I've grown so much. And just looking at how scared and worried I was, granted it was all new information, I'm sure I was overwhelmed and nervous and like just the fear of the unknown, but I'm okay. And I wish that I could just jump through the screen and tell myself like, you're gonna be okay, and just hug myself. I wish I could give that to you all. I have people that have watched my videos and they were like, oh my God, I was just diagnosed and I'm nervous or I'm scared too. And I wish that I could just jump through and just tell you it's going to be okay. You can still live the same quality of life, just making minor changes here or there, get a great support team, get a great medical team, and you're going to be okay. Just jumping right in from the last two videos that you've seen, let's provide a few updates and then we'll get into the breakdown of how I'm feeling in every capacity. I did decide to start treatment, so I now do the Ocrevus infusions. It's twice a year, so once every 6 months. However, your first and second dosage, if your treatment plan is similar, and I want to say they do this for everyone that starts Ocrevus, but really just speaking to my experience. So the first dosage was set for half a dosage because they want to see how your body's going to react. Then about 2 weeks later, I did the second half dosage. You know, again, just kind of testing things out to see how your body reacts. And then 6 months later, you do a full dosage or a full infusion. So I just had my first full infusion. I did start with the Ocrevus plan. And honestly, do I think that I made a rush decision? Partially, yes. It was just so much going on at once. I remember asking my neurologist, I was like, if I don't start medication, is it just as dangerous or more dangerous than doing nothing? And he was like, yeah, you should definitely start medication. So I think I had that in my head when I made my decision. I don't know if I would change that, but I am not completely closed off to a holistic approach. If you look at my last two videos, there's a lot of people talking about the changes that they made and they're not taking medication. No judgment either way, but I am still going to research. Now that things have settled a little bit, I'm still going to research and I'm still open to holistic solutions or, you know, just a more natural approach. Ladies and gentlemen, I have officially experienced the crap gap, and it was just as crappy as people peg it out to be. I'm very blessed to be here. I survived it. So I'm definitely in my crap gap era, and I don't care what anyone says, it's 100% a thing. Probably about 2 more weeks until my next Ocrevus infusion, and honestly, I've been feeling this way for a while. I've just been pushing through that shit. Today's one of those days. It's been a long start to the morning, if I do say so myself. But I told myself, if there's one thing that I'm able to do today, I'm gonna excel at that one thing and I'm gonna crush it. So starting with my skincare, side effects that I'm currently feeling. Right now, I'm feeling extreme fatigue and weak. I was about to say weak limbness. Brain fog. And I already am a master of jumbling up my words. So imagine having brain fog and just seeing your neurological functions just. I am having a lot of weakness in my limbs. I just feel really like really heavy and tired and weak. And I have the desire to do nothing but just rot today, to be honest. I was supposed to go on a walk with my husband. I was like, babe, I'm gonna have to catch you tomorrow because with me already feeling this way and then trying to play strong in the heat, it's a no for me. But again, I'm going to kick my own butt and I'm going to push myself today. I recorded a short video kind of chatting with my husband. He was caught off guard, so I apologize, babe, but I really just wanted to get his quick, honest feelings about how are you feeling about the crap gap so far? And he was honest, I was honest. It's a very quick 5-minute video, but if you have more questions about the crap gap, I can definitely do a dedicated video on that. But I did want to at least let you know, I've experienced that and it's definitely a real thing. Now that we are caught up, let's talk about how I am feeling physically. It's really hard to say if what I'm feeling or what I'm experiencing is linked to Ocrevus, is linked to my MS, is linked to just me being Jennifer, and this was going to happen either way. But I can tell you that some of the things that I've experienced are hair thinning, hair loss, my nails, but I've spoke about this on my channel about, just my nails being weak and brittle. Could that have been MS kind of presenting itself earlier on, or is this, just like a new development? Who knows? But again, because I'm experiencing it, I thought it was important to put that out there. So before starting the Ocrevus infusion, and I mean like right before, I started to notice that I was getting tremors in my left hand. I would move my thumb in a particular, like in a certain way, and my hand would just like violently shake, or my thumb specifically would violently shake. Now, I have noticed that that doesn't happen anymore. Like my thumb, it moves or kind of jolts a little bit, but it's not as crazy as you see in the video that I have here. So again, is that timing? Is that a coincidence? I'm not sure. Is it because I started the Ocrevus infusion and it's kind of working in my body? Hard to tell, but that is something physically, and it was never the right hand, by the way, it was always the left. But that is something physically that I have noticed. As far as my mobility, which is something that I was really worried about, I haven't noticed any differences in my walking and my mobility. I actually started walking every morning. This is week 2. That was really important to me because I'm like, you know what? This thing is not going to take me down. And I have little people, I have a family to be here for. So I'm going to make sure I move my body every single day. Even before I started back walking, I didn't notice any changes in my mobility or, my movements, my walking or my legs or anything like that. I still get the tingling and the jolts that kind of triggered me to go to the doctor and led to my diagnosis last year. So I still get that feeling on my left side, and it's just very sporadic. It just kind of comes and goes, or sometimes it'll like last for a few minutes and then it'll go away. And honestly, I expected that to happen because when I had that conversation with my neurologist, he was basically saying the medication is going to work to kind of prevent a worsening, but it doesn't always eradicate or change things that have already happened. In some cases it could, but there's no promise there. So I was expecting to just kind of feel this tingling and this numb feeling just forever. And I still can't guarantee if it's going to happen forever, but I know for now it does still occur. It's very sporadic. It's not painful. It's just uncomfortable. Speaking of uncomfortable, I think I have experienced the MS hug. MS warriors, can you please comment down below and tell me, or tell the community, how would you explain the MS hug? It's so hard to explain, but based on like definitions or descriptions that I've seen from other people, it kind of feels like a tightening. And that's what it feels like to me. And it doesn't always happen in my chest. So that's why I'm wondering, is it actually the MS hug? Sometimes it happens in my chest. Sometimes it's like in my gut or my stomach area, but it just feels like a tightening and like a jolt at the same time. It's like I hate that had to come with sound effects, but I don't know how else to explain it. You would probably do a better job at explaining it than me, but it really just feels like it's uncomfortable. That is more uncomfortable than the tingling and the numbness and the jolts that I have on my side. But when that happens, I just kind of try to relax and just try to get through it, honestly. Another physical change that I've noticed is that at night, my legs feel just extremely weak and sensitive. It's not necessarily a numbness, but it's definitely just like it's a different feeling in my legs. And even like when I'm laying down, it just feels like there's something going through my body. It's not necessarily a jolt, but it's like a sensation going through my legs. And it's extreme sensitivity that I feel. Like sometimes my husband will rub my legs, and even just him like touching it a little bit, it's like a good pain. That makes no sense. It's like I need that pressure and that touch to kind of offset the sensation that I'm feeling, but feeling them together is just like I could do nothing but just lay there and close my eyes and just be like, because it feels really good. So I don't know how to explain that, but that's something that I've noticed in my legs too. And it's always my legs. It's always both. I haven't felt that in my arms at night. It's just my legs, which is really weird. Probably the biggest physical change that I have noticed since my diagnosis, and it feels like it just came out of nowhere, is just the fatigue and the exhaustion that I have. And I'm not even talking about like, oh, it was a long day, I'm tired. I'm talking about like, I have nothing more to give. I am completely drained. I am done. Like, and sometimes it comes out of nowhere. Sometimes I can expect it, right? Like if I've had a long day, if I'm going for my walks, I'm running errands, I have a long day, I know that at the end of the day or the next day, I'm gonna be out, I'm gonna be done. But sometimes it legit just comes out of nowhere, and I'm just like, I did nothing. I did nothing. Why are you punishing me? Not talking to God, talking to the MS. But I'm just like, and it always frustrates me, even though I know it shouldn't, because this is just something that should be expected. But it always frustrates me, and it always comes at the worst time. But it's just extreme exhaustion, extreme fatigue, body weakness. Like, I'm done. I'm out for the count. I'm done. So that is definitely the biggest physical change that I have noticed since being diagnosed. Even with my Ocrevus infusions, it's just, I feel like it's just something that's always going to be there. So may as well get used to it. Let's get into these mental changes, because this is something that I was actually really nervous about. It's something that I'm really self-conscious about as well. But again, I want to be very transparent as I'm sharing information with you, because I'm sure it would be, helpful to somebody else. It's something that I struggle with all day, every day. I'm very hard on myself, and I'm trying not to be. But my mental capacity, or just like my mental strength, is not where I would like for it to be. And it's frustrating for me. It's very frustrating and because I don't know if it is linked to the MS, if it's linked to me starting the Ocrevus and what's going on in my body, if it's linked to just me getting older and I'm like neurologically declining, if it's something that would have happened either way, I don't know. I can definitely just blame things on the illness, or I can just blame things on the medication, but realistically, I don't know. I don't know who's to blame. Okay? I just know like I'm struggling, and all of y'all can get it. Like before I got diagnosed, honestly, I was seeking therapy because I was like, I either have ADHD, I might be on the spectrum. I don't know what's going on with me, but I know it's taking me longer to process things, and I process things differently than other people. So just keep that in mind. This could be linked to the MS, or there could be other stuff going on with me, or it could be just a fun, jambalaya of all of the above. But mental changes are definitely impacting me, and it's messing with my head. No pun intended, okay? Let me tell you what I'm feeling. Brain fog. What else am I feeling? I am all over the place. Let me just stop here. It's hot. Are you hot? It is a little hot. Have my notes. All right. I'm ready. I have difficulty focusing, and I have difficulty finding my words. That has been there with me, like fumbling over my words. That's something that I've just dealt with, for as long as I can remember. I don't want to say my whole life, but for as long as I can remember. I do feel like that has heightened since my diagnosis, or at least in the past few months. I'm talking about, like, I'll be talking to my kids and I'm like, oh, can you go get me something out of the, what do you call that thing? The fridge. Why is it taking me so long to name a household appliance? It's like little stuff like that. And it really frustrates me, because while I'm like in the moment, I'm like, the name of this, like, hurry up, speed it up. You like, why are you processing like this? And I feel like because I'm getting in my head while I'm trying to process, it's just a whole lot of chaotic nonsense that's going on in my brain. And I'm sure that's not helping as I'm trying to process, but for me, it's just really frustrating. So that's something that I have to be more patient with myself, and I have to be easier on myself. But it's frustrating when you feel like you're declining. It does take a toll on your confidence. I even was talking to Nick the other day, my husband, and I was like, am I just gonna have to go to like voiceover videos at this point, and just read from a script? Like, I feel like I can't even sit down and talk to my audience anymore, because it's gonna take me 2 hours to record something that should have been like 10 or 15 minutes. And that's the honest truth. Like I said, I went back and I watched those 2 videos that I recorded in January so that I can be prepared for today's video. But I actually went back and watched some of my videos from like 2017, 2015 and before. And I feel like I was a lot quicker with like finding my words and having a conversation and talking, and it's not as easy. It's not as easy. And that's something that definitely messes with me. I'm trying to not be so hard on myself. And I know that I'm not making the best decisions as far as like, well, Jennifer, are you feeding yourself brain food? Are you taking your omegas? Are you eating your greens? Right. So we have that part of the equation as well. Like I have to get better with my supplements. I have to get better with my diet. Things are just all over the place. So once everything is just kind of aligned, once I'm more consistent across the board, which is something that I'm working on, I think I'll be able to gauge things in a better way. That's the hope, at least. So in the meantime, I'm writing everything down. I schedule the heck out of everything. Like it could be something as small as like, I have to pick up the kids early tomorrow. I'm sending a calendar invitation. My friend or my daughter has a meetup with her friends or like a little play date. Calendar invitation. Like everything is going into the calendar. I'm tracking my thoughts in my notes app. As soon as I think of something, I'm like, oh, let me write this down because I don't want to forget it. Like everything is getting written down. I'm using Notepad for everything. Like that thing is stuffed. So I'm writing everything down. I'm tracking everything down. But speaking of that, I do find that I get really overstimulated easy too. And I know that's more so like a mood thing, but I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that I am just screens all day. I work on the computer and I'm on screens. I'm creating content, I'm on screens. I'm writing things down, I'm scheduling things. There's just screens everywhere. So what I've started doing is going back to just pen and paper. That's always been my best friend, pen and paper. And I know like it's 2024, we're trying to phase those things out, but really you just have to go back to what works for you. And pen and paper has always been like my number one. So I have to find like a really good planner. Right now I'm just writing on random pieces of paper that I find. But if you have any suggestions for a planner, I'm open because that's where I excel, when I write things down and I have to see it. Like I have to put it somewhere where I'm going to see it. It's so much better and so much cleaner, and it's just a better processing experience for me if I write things down. So I'm trying to get better at that, but also just to give my eyes and my brain a break from looking at screens all the time. Even for today's video, I mean, you see these notes, these papers that I've been putting up, and it's not fully scripted, but I do have my bullet points because I want to make sure that I touch on things and don't like lose my train of thought. And that I can stay on topic and on task, and I want to make the video flow. So I find that doing things like that really helps me with just tracking and processing things and just like staying on top of things. How have things changed for me emotionally? Well, so glad you asked. I am already like a very sensitive and an emotional person. So that's a little tricky for me to answer. There's some days when I feel really strong, like I'm ready to take on the world, like I got this, I'm a warrior. And then there's some days when I'm just like, I'm just a baby. It's really just about having balance for me, and that's fine. But honestly, that's just the way that I look at it. That's just a part of being a woman. It's just a part of being a Black woman in my experience. You know, it's a beautiful balance between being soft and emotional and sensitive and being strong. And that's just something that is brought to my attention more often, especially with having this illness. But if I'm being completely honest with you, there are days that go by. There could be a week that goes by where I'm not always thinking about the fact that I have MS. And I like it that way. This does not define me. And it's honestly until like I get a flare up or I get really exhausted and I'm like, oh yeah, or I have to go to an appointment, you know, it's not until I'm reminded that I'm reminded, because I don't talk about this all day, every day. And I know it sounds so cheesy to say like, I have MS, MS doesn't have me, but that's really how I feel. Like, this is just something that I have to deal with, and I'm gonna push through it, and I have shit to take care of. I have people that are counting on me, people to take care of. It's not gonna get me. Like, girl, you're not gonna win. You might knock me down, but I'm not gonna stay down. And that's just the reality of it. MS has not and it will not completely stop my life. I've really just had to make small changes here or there to adjust to the quality of life that I know that I deserve. And I hope that you know that you're deserving of the same and that you're capable of the same. Send this or share this with someone who has MS, because I know how scary it was in the beginning. And if I could just see a face smiling back at me saying like, you're gonna be okay, you're going to be okay, that would have made all of the difference for me. If you've made it to the end of this video, first of all, you're a real one, but can you just comment down below like the sparkle emoji? That's one of my favorites, but also it's just a cute way for us to just spread light in the comments section like we've been doing. This community is so beautiful. This journey can be dark, it can feel closed in, but it doesn't have to feel that way. I'm here for you. There's a whole beautiful community of people that are here for you. You can find a lot of them in the comment section of my last 2 videos and hopefully this one too. If you're here to learn more about MS, if you're here to just connect and feel like you can relate to somebody, or if you're just here to escape because you're tired of answering for the millionth time, how are you feeling? How are you feeling? How are you feeling? How are you doing? This is the place for you. Thank you for coming to spend time with me today. I hope that you leave here feeling lighter and empowered and just ready to take on the world. You all right? All right, give me a hug. Let's go do something fun.